Kiss FM.
So in the studio today, I am being educated on wine and grapes and things by Mr. Nigel Birch from the Adega Do Cantor and the legend and icon Sir Cliff Richard. Hello, guys.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well now. Yeah, you turned up.
You knew we were coming to talk about wine.
I had an idea. I did have an idea.
I don't see any in front of me. Other than the one I bought for you.
This one is I'm just going to show this now to the webcam. Sir Cliff and Nigel have brought me a nice bottle of the Vino wine from the Adega Do Cantor.
Please notice the medals.
It's what sorry.
It's a medal winning.
Is that a new thing, the medals?
No, it's a medal winning wine. That's very, very important.
We've won so many medals, it's unbelievable.
We can't
just keep bragging. It's great.
Would anybody like a medal?
What? Right. So okay. Let's talk. First of all, let's talk. The Adega Do Cantor.
Yeah.
Is the winery.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's in Gia, which is in Albufeira. Is it in Gia? I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here.
Gia is in Gia. Gia is just like another Albufeira.
Gia is a satellite town of Albufeira.
Yeah.
It's a freguesia.
It's a bit more rural.
Yeah.
Is it the posh bit?
I would never say that Gia was posh.
Because the only reason is because you think of Albufeira as being quite a built-up area, and you would think of a winery as being not built up and just sort of a huge field with grapes in it.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's basically Gia is a much, much smaller town surrounded by a lot of farmland. And in fact, between Nigel and me, we have 3 different vineyards.
Yep.
He owns 2 of them and I own 1.
In the Algarve?
In
Gia. In Gia. 3 different vineyards?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very rural place, even though it's just 10 minutes from here.
Well, you wouldn't think so. I mean, it's just behind. I've not been to the winery. I'm booked in. I've actually bought my dad for Father's Day a trip around the winery in June.
No, well, we'd love to
he'll enjoy it.
So mum and dad are going to come down.
Kiss FM.
You see, what made you then decide Portugal? Because that would have been sort of the peak of getting to the peak of your career, hitting sort of the stardom thing, wouldn't it?
I didn't actually decide to come here. My manager, Peter Gormley, the late Peter Gormley, a wonderful, wonderful man, was a big friend of Muriel Young. Remember the Muriel TV presenter? You're too young probably to remember her, but she was one of the most classy, glamorous. She'd come on to do the weather, and if it was really cold, she'd come on in a fur coat, turn to the camera and say, "Darlings, it's going to be awfully cold outside."
Yeah,
so she was a great character. Well, you knew her, didn't you?
Very well.
And my manager came to stay with her in her house. It was the far side of Albufeira, which was country then.
Yeah,
and he fell in love with the place and came into Albufeira and saw this place below the Boa Vista, 6 houses, 3 semi-detached blocks, and bought all 6 of them. 1 for himself, 1 for Bruce Welsh of the Shadows, 1 for me, 1 for Frank Ifield, the singer who had those big hits in England, and 2 for the agent, the great Leslie Grade. And I came in, he said, if you don't like it, you can sell it. But I came in, he bought it at 60, 61 I came in, I loved it. So... Well,
surely if you were, 21, I don't know how old were you when you did move it? How old was that?
18, well, I was 17 when I did move it. It was number 2 on my 18th birthday.
It's a pretty good present, that, isn't it, really?
That was a good present.
So at 21, you're quite high up in your sort of celebrity status now, and yet you will come to, and in the nicest possible way, I mean, Portugal must have been a fairly backward country then, and in sort of what it was, because it wasn't anything, was it? It can't have been anything when you...
Well, it wasn't.
It was wonderful.
It was...
I mean,
probably was. It was probably the best time ever, but...
I mean, it was so simple, and it was absolutely beautiful.
But if you were, I mean, at the time you were filming here, there, and everywhere, being shot off and whatever, to come to Portugal, did this become your retreat away from it all?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. This was at that particular time, particularly. It was a definite retreat because, as you say, the only people that were here were some French people, and I did notice over the years that as more Brits came, the French disappeared.
I don't know what it is about that.
I mean, it was their loss, really. I mean, I don't know why we still have this banter about French and British. I love going to France. I think it's a fantastic place, and anybody that likes Portugal should always come here. But it was a very quiet. Albufeira, for instance, had a market right smack in the middle of the square, under the trees, and you can go down there for 3. What was it? What was the money then?
A scudo.
A scudo. For about 3 scudos, you could buy a huge melon. Oh, no, we were talking about this. You could buy Mateus Rosé. Now, those of you that know old money, used to buy a bottle for 7 and 6, and you got 4 shillings back on the bottle.
What, over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what prompted you then? I mean, who contacted who, and how did you two get together to decide you were going to do a winery? Because Nigel, it's not every day that you meet somebody like Sir Cliff Richard and think, and walk up to a bar and go, hi Cliff, how are you? Do you want to open a winery? Yeah, I'll do that. It's great. I mean, how would you? People think of these things. You see you together and stuff. Are you lifelong friends? Are you friends of the fathers and mothers? I mean,
he started one of the first really good restaurants in the Algarve, and so those of us who were getting rather hungry ate in his restaurant. So we'd met, and then the story goes on from there.
Strangely, we met away from the restaurant over the years a couple of times at Muriel's, funny enough.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a strange sort of period, really. It was.
So you just sort of met as just two people that just got together and bonded a little bit?
What happened over the years, Cliff, when you moved from your place in Albufeira, you bought a house on the coast.
Marias.
Yeah, Ses Marias, which was a beautiful house. And I remember you contacted me and said, look, I need some palm trees.
It's not a bad request, is it really?
Because at that time, at that time we'd moved from restaurants into nurseries, and we had a garden centre in Ferrerish, if you remember.
Yep.
And I got a call from Cliff saying, could I please help him with a couple of palm trees? We met up then, and then years later, of course, he moved to Gear.
Yep.
And because I was involved with the building side of things in those days, I had builders on Cliff's property for about 12 years, 96 to whatever.
On and off, whatever I needed. Done. There he was.
So, and it was during this time, of course, that you, with David Baverstock,
well, I met David
together
Baverstock.
the wine thing.
Well, because I wanted to plant. I inherited a farm
over here.
Yeah. By the way, he did a lot of them. I didn't do a great deal of building, but I needed some construction stuff done, and he was always available.
You don't look like a builder. Some people do, and some people.
I know.
We don't look like builders.
I have wellies. I have very big wellies and boots.
But he was available, but not cheap.
Typical.
Anyway,
typical
what
British,
happened?
Really.
I asked my farmer, what am I going to do? I'd like the farm to live. You know, most of us, like people in our business, in showbiz, we buy things like that, and then what happens? You have a beautiful home and a lovely garden around it, and then a wilderness.
Yes.
And I'd like to have thought that the farm could still produce something. So I said, what should we plant? He said, well, I can sell figs to the north of Portugal, and I can sell figs in Spain. So that first, now it's Shiraz growing down the hill, but at that stage, for €30 a hole, for 5 acres, I planted fig trees.
Yeah, that's right.
And
so you had to pay €30 a hole and plant a tree?
Well, that's what to me it was. All I could see was this tiny little thing, an inch of stalk sticking out of the soil, and they all said to me, that's a fig tree. I went, oh, really?
Brilliant, great.
Anyway, so, and then of course, the guy that was managing my house had met a winemaker from Australia, David Baverstock, and he said, I'd like to introduce you to this guy. Anyway, he came over, and I said, well, I don't know. Algarve's not known for wine. He said, that's because they don't know how to do it, but they're not thick. They're not dense. They will learn very fast, but you could be one of the first. So I dug up my €30 holes and
planted.
Yeah, because he said to me, look, you've got a choice. You either have syrup of figs or a nice bottle of red wine.
There's not a choice there.
Not a choice there.
Not a choice.
So that's how it came about. And then Nigel had bought his property not far from us, really. And I think you were planning to plant local stuff, weren't you?
Well, originally we had avocados.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And the avocados were a disaster because we suddenly encountered salt water out of our well and basically wiped them out. So I walked away from the place for about 3 or 4 years, 5 years maybe. And then it was David Baverstock that actually, it was his idea to bring us together on the wine kick. I had no ambitions, in fact, no desire to be a wine producer or
that makes two of us.
Yeah, it just happened.
Just a wine drinker.
Happened. It was just a very nice thing to happen.
Yeah,
so what we'll do then is that's how you met and how the winery started, how the Adega Do Cantor first got its roots. I'll play a record. We'll come back in a minute. We'll talk about some of the wines and stuff that are being done at the moment, because you've won a bucket full of awards at the minute, haven't you? Everything you do at the minute seems to be painted with gold. It's brilliant.
We have, well, I don't know about gold, but certainly we have been fortunate.
You got a little bit of silver in there too.
Well, I'm just looking. There's a bit of gold on there, a bit of silver, a bronze as well, which is all pretty good. But we'll chat those. I'll dig out some information. We'll have a quick chat on those in a second. Thanks, guys. Back very shortly. In the studio at the moment with Nigel Birch and Sir Cliff Richard from the Adega Do Cantor Winery in Gear. We're talking wines and things, and we've already spoken about how the winery started. So, mics are on there, boys. Welcome back. Hi, guys.
Thank you.
Are you okay there, Nigel?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Sure.
I'm fine.
You are actually.
I'm sitting here sweating, but
Yes.
other than that, I'm fine.
I've got the AC on there. It's working as best it can.
I think it's going backwards. There's not much coming in here, but
Right, let's talk awards. Okay, the winery itself, the Adega Do Cantor. Is it the Adega that wins awards? Is it called, what do you call it? Do you call it an Adega? Or
It's an Adega. Well, in Portuguese, it's an Adega, the winery, yeah.
does it mean farm Adega? Is it farm?
Adega is winery.
Okay, so there we go. So the Adega.
Quinta is farm. How long you been here?
Well, I sort of know. I thought what's it called? I thought Labrador was farm. I thought, yeah.
No, Labrador's a dog.
Not Labrador. Labrador. I thought Labrador. I thought that was farm.
No,
or farmer.
Labrador's a farmer.
Right. So you see,
Oh, you were close.
You're getting there.
I'm alright then.
Getting
Right. So I knew Quinta. I didn't know Quinta and or Adega. So Adega's farmer.
Adega is winery.
So is it the Adega that wins the award, or is it the individual wine that wins the awards? And I'm saying this now because some people listening might have no idea.
It's the wine, isn't it?
It's the wine.
Or is it the grape?
The wine.
It's-
Well, no, it's got to be the grape as well. But usually they have. And I got people saying to me, "Oh, you're winning awards. It's only because you're Cliff Richard." And I said, "Well, it's
not.
all the awards
Absolutely
you get are blind tastings. Then nobody knows what they're drinking. There's no labels on the bottles. Only the people that pour the wine know whose it is. And so,
So it goes to a panel
Yep.
in Portugal or in Europe. Or
It depends which fair you're at. For example, in the UK, which is one of the big ones, it's totally blind, and they have judges or judges, I guess, from all over the world who come in especially for the
and
week
taste
of the
hundreds
wine.
of wines. That's
Taste
the
hundreds.
thrill for us.
And I mean, for us, we got a
Oh,
bronze
well,
there
job.
this year, which we haven't been to London for a number of years. We got a bronze there this year with our reserve red.
Who decides then whose wine goes in for the award? Do you decide it goes in and send it in, or do they phone you and say, right, we're doing the awards, we want your wine?
We send them in. I think any winemaker can decide to send them in, and I guess they decide to accept it, or is it accepted?
They go into, we choose, there's all types of wine competitions all over the world. We choose which ones we go into. For example, International Wine Challenge in London last year, we went in, and then it goes into each category from a different country. So
That's Rebecca, by the way, Nigel's daughter, who
yes.
kind of knows more about it than all of us.
Well, but
Absolutely.
some of the listeners will know Rebecca. Rebecca used to do you did a little short stint on the afternoon show, didn't you? You covered about 2 months on the drive time show. So remember Rebecca. So you send the wine a little bit like this again. I'm layman, so a little bit like the X Factor. You send it in and it goes in. Britain's Got Talent for wine. It gets sent in and they judge it on a blind test.
Yeah.
So
On a
they
blind
don't know
test.
what they're drinking.
They don't know who's made it or what it is. They just taste it and they decide what they like. I mean, I was so thrilled. Just 2013, I think, we won medals in Munich and Berlin. The Rosé
That's
got
right.
a gold in
that's
Munich.
that's a Munich one, actually.
Is that a
And-
Munich one?
and
So how do
Portuguese.
you know from looking that that's a Munich one? I'm showing Nigel the bottle
No,
now.
the label, the stickers. I know that the top one is Berlin, and the one below is the Portuguese one in Lisbon.
So they're two awards. That's 2 awards. It's won this wine. It's a bottle of the Vino Nova Red that you've got from 2010.
2010,
What's that? Is it Sierra Aragonés?
Aragonés, yeah.
And is that the one? The grape? The
That's,
Aragonés?
that's a grape, yeah. That's a blend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Vita Nova's a variety blend.
Okay.
Syrah Aragonés.
When you say a blend, that's more than one grape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mix them together.
It's usually our reservoir is definitely the Shiraz and Aragonés.
Yeah.
We used to put a little bit of Trincadera, but I lost those grapes, didn't I? My field got a bug in it, one big field. Had
When
to
you
take
say
it out.
got a bug,
It got something that started eating from the roots up, and we had to pull everything out for 5 acres or something like that, and it had to lie fallow and be dealt with over a period of 3 years.
No,
5 years, was it 5?
so if you get a
Well,
bug, basically,
sorry, it's 5 years since they were taken out. So there's 3 years.
so if
out
your
there.
winery gets a bug,
I've replanted now, but you have to kill off this little bug
yeah,
in the field.
It's only a
And then-
question. It's time. You need time for it to die out.
that field then has to stay sort of muted.
Yeah,
for,
they kept on coming back and testing it until it showed negative, nothing there.
Some grape varieties work. It all depends on the soil, the climate.
Well, I found this out at the wine show when I was quite impressed actually because we met you again. I've done the last 2 years at the Albufeira wine show, and again I'm always asking questions about stuff. I didn't realise, as stupid as this might seem and stuff, that different grapes make different wines. For example, and you'll confirm this for me. I think I was talking to one of your guys there. I think because you went there this year, weren't you, Nigel? But
Yeah, it was.
I must have missed you on the Saturday. then.
Was he a Portuguese guy you spoke to? Because our
Yes.
new
Ruben.
winemaker is Ruben. Who's Portuguese.
I think it was Ruben that I spoke to, and he was telling me about the same grape can make the same bottle of wine But if it's 3 years different, like, I mean, the year is apparently very important. So you can have one grape growth, because let's say, my question was to him, okay, so somebody buys your wine, let's say they buy this wine from 2010 and go, I absolutely love that wine. So they see this wine again, the Vida Nova wine, it's 2014 written on it, they buy it thinking it tastes the same as the 2010. And there's a chance that it might taste completely different.
It might be different.
But it's the same grape.
Yeah, it is, but it's like any farming, really. But it's even more critical, I think, with grapes, because with grapes, it needs the rain that comes in the winter, but it needs solid sunlight. We've only ever had one bad year, and people still kind of criticize us for it. And I'm thinking, had anybody else had grapes planted, it would have been the same for all of us. It does change.
When you say one bad year, sorry.
Well, it rained that year. In 2002, it rained almost the whole time during the summer, and right in the middle of the harvest, it rained as well. So we couldn't make a grape wine anyway. Did
you still actually make the wine and then think, this doesn't taste so good? Or was it other people that said, oh, this wine's terrible? And
we made what the winemaker called an elegant wine, and I knew we were in trouble.
What happened, Si, is in August it rained, and that's when the grape's full of juice and sugar, and the more sugar, the more the alcohol, and there's not much a winemaker can do to go back.
Which makes sense, because the first year I came over here was 2004, I think I was over, and a taxi driver, it was raining when I came over in the August, and he said, I said, oh, it's August, it's raining. He said, yeah, he said, we don't want rain in August. He said, because it kills the dry crops.
Yeah.
Yes,
it ruins things. And I was like, what's he talking about?
Yeah.
So it must have a massive effect on the grapes.
It does, and we've been very lucky, though, because, again, if you've got the right winemakers, which we've had so far. Nigel's son made wine for us for quite a few years, under he and David Bavistock, the Australian guy, who kind of helped us start. Then he took hold of Ruben, and Ruben now has taken over from him. And we've been lucky in that the winemaker actually counts for a great deal. They can actually make the wine. Most of our wines, there'll be I have to tell you, I can't tell the difference. I can tell the difference between that 2002 and all the rest, but all the rest to me
So the 2002 is the one that was the elegant wine?
Yes. It was very elegant.
Yes.
But you can't help it. You're a farmer. Any farmer. Even in France, they have a bad year, and it's not just one winery. All the grapes. Yeah. All the grapes suffer.
Again, it could be a stupid question. I'm asking questions now that somebody else might be thinking, why didn't you? So if you think a wine's going to become an elegant wine, or it's a bad crop, why do you continue to make it? Why do you actually put that out to maybe know in your back of your mind, well, this is
I think what we've got.
Or do you not believe in yourself?
What you've got to look at, Si, this was year 2 of our
the project.
It was before the winery was in existence, in fact.
Okay.
Now
we didn't actually make it in our own winery.
Right. It was made up in the Alentejo for Sir Cliff.
So the grapes were grown here, then you sent them up to Alentejo, they made the wine.
At that stage, because the winery didn't exist.
Okay.
The winery came online in 2003. So that year, the 2002, went up to Alentejo to be made. Now, you've also got to understand that when you're new to the business, you're not going to stop. You go forward. The wine was actually not bad. I mean, Cliff's using the word elegant, but I would say
bad.
It was.
No, you're right.
It was good.
It was okay, but
it wasn't as good as the 2000. You see, we were judged on 2000, which was brilliant.
Yes.
And it's very difficult and it's all to do with flavors. It's all to do with so many different things. As Cliff said, agriculture is one of the hardest, the most difficult things to be involved in.
Well, you're completely reliant on the weather, aren't you?
Totally.
I've always said to people, look, you shouldn't judge. I mean, I've been with taxi drivers who said, oh, no, we don't drink Vida Nova because we drink, something else from the Douro.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, what you should do is taste it.
Yeah.
If you like it, then drink it. If you don't like it, then drink something from the Douro. You're going to get some good wines, a lot of good wines from the Douro.
This is why, when we did the wine show, I had Sandra, she was working for us then as well, and she just used to go away, and I didn't say anything. She just went away and brought me wine back, and I knew nothing about it. And it's that exact thing there. I was tasting wine, not knowing anything about it, deciding whether I liked it, and then getting told about it. So that's the best. Sometimes that's the best way.
I've said to my friends, look, they said, where can we get your wine? I said, look, I'll tell you where you can get it, but if you don't like it, don't ruin your meal. Have something else. Yeah. It just so happens, fortunately for us, a lot of people like our wine. I mean, the rosé wine is
fantastic. I
mean, I've got friends who don't drink rosé, and they just on this recent visit here, and she said to me, "Well, I only drink red." I said, "Well, just try this." She tried it. She said, "Oh."
See, I won't drink rosé, but I don't know why I won't drink rosé. I'm a red man.
Oh yeah, well the rosé. Well, the thing about our rosé is that we make our wines. Even the rosé is not a light drink. This is no elegant drink. This is a drink you could drink at lunchtime, but if you're going to have 3 glasses, go to bed afterwards.
And that's a serious
It's a
drink.
proper wine.
Yeah, it's a proper wine.
See,
Exactly.
people think that rosé is a bit. It's got this label as being a bit girly.
No.
It's used. Girls used to order it because it looked pale and pink, and it wasn't 10% alcohol.
I mean,
you know.
you wouldn't see. I mean, if would we look? Me all going out, all the guys together, me down, all bottle of rosé.
Do you know what? I order everything I shouldn't order. I mean, I couldn't care less what people think. Who cares what you think? It's your taste buds you're trying to please, not all these people standing around going, "Oh, well, look at him, he's drinking a pink drink."
Yeah, but it does have a big effect on me.
I know it is, but
Men
I'm
with
saying that
pints.
it shouldn't have. It shouldn't have at all.
You're
If you
right.
are a real guy, you can do what you
Drink rosé,
flipping well want
wear
to do.
pink. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's sorry, are you off again?
No, go on. You carry on now. I'm going to put the news on at 10:30, but you carry on.
It's actually rather strange side because we started off with only red. We had 2 vineyards and all we had was red wine. Now, I don't know whether you're aware, but actually red wine makes rosé. So the same grape will make rosé. It's not red and white mixed. There's a lot of people
think that, yes.
Exactly. It's not that. It's
So how can the same wine? How can the same grape make 2 different coloured wines?
Well,
What makes the colour?
the juice is basically
skins.
white and the skins give the colour.
The longer you leave the skin in, the redder it becomes. So the
Absolutely.
rosé probably has the skins in there for about 8 hours.
Yeah.
And if you want it paler, which we're going to try our rosé a little bit paler, we'll leave it in for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, answer this question for me. Somebody told me this and I don't know how true it is. Is white wine made from red grapes?
Can be.
It can
Can
be.
be.
All grapes, all red grapes, except 2 or 3, have white juice. Isn't that strange? I find that strange. But Nigel in his farm grows one of... Nigel and I think this is a fabulous wine. I love it. It's called an Alicante Boucher. That's the name of the grape.
Yep.
And
That's
it's
a
one
Boucher.
of... There's only about 2 or 3 grapes, and this is one of them, where you squeeze it and the juice comes out red.
Absolutely blood red.
Already red. So we can't make a rosé with that.
No.
So you don't, that grape will only make red?
Yeah.
Yep.
See, now, again, I'm talking again as a man that doesn't know too much about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're not as stupid as you were.
I'm not now. I'm learning
Before the
loads
show
here.
started, you said you were stupid about this, so I'm thinking to myself, well, you're not so stupid now.
Well, I'm not now. No, I'm thinking I could be if you're a bit short of a partner, another younger, a bit of younger blood there. Just
I think you were putting yourself down a bit.
We'll give you a diploma before we leave. Don't
Thank you
worry.
very much indeed.
A bronze medal and leading up to a silver next year, perhaps.
I'll go with that. I'll take bronze anything now. I don't mind being third. I'll take silver because silver is second last. I'm happy with that.
Absolutely.
Sorry, silver's first last, isn't
Very
it?
close to first.
Right, what I'll do is I'm going to play the news, which I should have put on at 10:30, but we're having a good time chatting about the winery. We've not covered all the awards yet. What we'll do is when we come back after the news and stuff, we'll talk about all the awards that you've won, and we'll say which wines they're labelled to.
We've got to
Combine them.
mention congratulations as well.
Well, all right, we'll mention
Oh, that's
congratulations.
not a song. Well, it is a song, but it's
It's
our,
the wine.
our sparkling wine.
Right, well, okay, as a teaser then, is the wine named after the song, or is the wine named after the fact it won awards?
It was both. It was partly to do with me having a birthday and congratulations. And then we thought congratulations is a great title for a sparkling because people use champagne and stuff like that. Oh, we can't call ours a champagne, although it's the same method. But it's everyone goes congratulations for your birthday, for your birth, for your divorce.
It's a great gift.
For being on the breakfast show,
yes,
So, yeah.
everything. So it made a good title. I thought it was a good title.
Okay, well, we'll talk more about that when we come back. Thanks, guys.
Kiss FM.
That's why I'm asking you to do it and not me.
I really don't care.
Right, let's have a quick chat again with Mr. Nigel Birch and Sir Cliff Richard in the studio now. We are talking the Adega Do Cantor wines, grapes, winery, drinking, bottles and things. I've got some questions that listeners have sent in too. We'll run through some questions shortly for you. Okay. Right, you've won an absolute pile of awards. We're going to do that. So let's talk individually about some of the awards that have won. You were talking before about the congratulations. Is congratulations, you said that you can't call it champagne.
No, because you can only call a drink of champagne if it comes from the Champagne regions of France, and they've got and I can see that that's probably the right thing. But, champagne to me is a bit like, in Britain we say, I'm going to hoover the room.
Yes.
Hoover has become the generic term for a vacuum cleaner.
I usually say my wife's going to hoover the room.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
But you should really say she's going to Dyson it or something like that.
Okay.
But Hoover is a company.
Yes.
But it's a generic term. So champagne became a generic term for this kind of sparkling wine.
Yes.
So I think it's a little unfair that they've taken it away from us. But nevertheless,
So you actually legally can't say the name champagne if you
No.
we can't call it a champagne. It's a brut.
It's made in the champagne method.
Okay, so it's in the style of champagne.
Yes.
It's a champagne, but we can't call it
They
champagne.
used to call it champagne-noise, didn't they?
Champagne-noise.
Champagne-noise.
So what's yours called? Yours is called
Congratulations.
But also, funnily enough, the description of it, of course, is spumante.
Okay.
Which is the Portuguese for sparkling. Unfortunately, there was an Italian sparkling wine that got a very bad reputation because it was incredibly dark red and very sweet. My mother loved it.
Yeah, my granny
And it was called Asti Spumante.
Yeah, I remember
So
that.
as soon as you see the word spumante on the bottle, you think, so we haven't hidden it away, but I did notice that one of our competitors simply wrote the English word sparkling.
Sparkling.
Okay.
And maybe we could switch across to sparkling.
It's quite nice, isn't it?
We could call it especially sparkling.
It says everything, doesn't it? So, congratulations is a sparkling. It
Yes.
is a style of champagne.
Yes.
A rosé
It's a
sparkling.
rosé, yeah.
100% Syrah grape.
Okay, so it's a one grape champagne.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a one grape sparkling.
Sparkling
spumante.
wine.
It's
Let's
sparkling
call it
wine.
a sparkling wine. That's what champagne is, anyway.
And it's one. When did that come out?
Well, we sent it to the International Wine Challenge in the spring, and we were really pleased. 'cause
This year, spring?
This year, and it was commended.
Yeah.
We only made a very few bottles, 10,000 bottles.
It's very few.
Yeah,
So,
very few.
There are 10,000 people at the moment rushing to the stores.
To buy a bottle of
buy a
congratulations.
Yeah.
How highly do you rate that yourselves? Are you? I mean, because again, you make it. It's
I don't know about Nigel
My wife has a problem.
with that one.
Yeah.
She can't get enough of it.
She's become addicted.
Oh no.
that's not a big problem. That's not a problem.
It's absolutely true. And she'll be sitting listening to this, and I'll get hell when I get
Excellent.
back. So there you
Do you
go.
know, actually, one of the best things that's happened to me from the winery is that I really don't drink anybody else's wine anymore. It's not that nobody else makes a good wine, because even in the Algarve, did we mention this before about how many vineyards
No,
there are
we
now?
were going to, because we said when you started that there was another three when you
There were
started,
three.
and that was
Three.
how long ago? That was in 2000.
2000. There are
So
three.
in 14 years,
Three wineries.
there are now in the Algarve alone.
30.
And so basically, we can class you guys as being some of the pioneers.
We kind of pioneered into
this
it,
comes-
yeah.
This is all because of Sickliffe, honestly.
Yeah, I took the gamble to plant some vines, having been told that you can't make a good wine.
Taking one for the team,
But I
basically.
had a lot of help from an Australian winemaker, and we did our first couple of years. We made them up in. I had 2 little tanks in the Alentejo, and
And a tank makes how many?
Depends on the size.
it depends on the size. These was fairly small, so it wasn't that much.
So you were just at the time you were just sort of dabbling in the
Dabbling in it really to find out.
It was
And then-
around 20,000 bottles, which should be
Yeah.
15,000 litres, something
They're
like
pretty
that.
big
Yeah.
tanks.
Yeah,
Well, it is. It sounds a lot if you're going to drink it yourself.
It's got in your fridge.
But
Yeah.
the funny thing is, coming back to drinking it myself, I mean, I tend to keep a selection of our wines
Yeah.
in my home, and that's all we'd ever drink. And my friends come, whether they like it or not.
Well, I bought my mum a bottle for a birthday, and the only problem is you've signed it and she won't open it.
No.
She won't
Oh,
open it.
will never
darling,
be
is-
opened.
is your mum listening?
She's listening.
Oh,
yeah.
listen. What's important is that you don't throw the bottle away.
Drink it.
Save the bottle with the signature.
She won't let me. She won't let me open it. She won't. Every time she says, I say, "Mum, do you want?" She go, "Yeah, don't open that bottle. Don't." And I say, "When you're gone, Mum, I'm going to open it. Stick the cork back in. Don't you dare. Don't you dare." So I'll give this. In fact, I'm not going to give this to her. I'm having it. I'll buy her one. In fact, she'll buy a bottle when she comes down. So going back to the awards, we're going back to the awards, aren't we? So. The congratulations sparkling wine has been commended.
And then the Reserve 2009, which is
that
a
red?
red wine,
Yep.
also Aragonesian Syrah, mainly Syrah. It got a bronze from the International Wine Challenge.
This year again,
This year
2014.
again. And that was in London, but we also put the wines into the Vinhos de Portugal, which is the main Portuguese wine competition,
Okay.
and that wine won a gold.
And that's up against all the Portuguese wines that everybody
Yeah.
says are the best wines in the world.
Exactly.
So the wine that's got the gold medal in Portugal is the...
Reserve.
Reserve, Vida Nova Reserve 2009.
Okay, and again, we were just saying before that the year makes a big difference on this.
Absolutely.
2009 was a great year.
It was.
Yeah.
I got a fantastic letter from a French guy. He's a fan, actually. I didn't know I had that many fans. In fact, I don't know. He probably is my fan
I think
club.
you've got 6 or 7 now, I think.
Yeah,
6 or
well,
7.
but he wrote me a letter saying I came over because I'd heard about your winery. Came to the winery. He said I bought Syrah 2009.
Syrah 2009.
And he said, unbelievable. He said, it's so fantastic. I've taken it back. He said, I'm almost embarrassed to tell my friends in France that I prefer the one in Portugal. So I was really thrilled that a Frenchman, they know their wines, don't they? And there's something about the French, you think, oh, they started it. But they didn't start it. Did you know, can I change it?
Yeah.
The Douro up north
Yes.
was the first ever demarcated area for winemaking in the world. It wasn't
That's
France.
amazing.
I thought it was France. I thought the French invented wine.
No, you see, it's
The
Portugal.
Portuguese are so cool.
They're so far behind on some things, but yet so far ahead on others, aren't they? Yeah.
And did you know that the Brits, I said they invented port. Well, they did really by mistake, because when they made their wine up north in Portugal, they wanted to ship it back to England and drink it there. By the time it got on the boat and back here in England, it had gone off. So what they did was they put brandy and stuff in it.
Yes,
to
I've heard this.
Yeah, to strengthen it.
Yep.
And by the time it got to England, it had gone off and become port. So we created...
And hence my favourite drink was born.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it your favourite drink?
Oh yeah,
I love a glass of port. Yeah.
I can't get enough. You'll notice when I'm 40, when I'm 45, I was going to say, when I'm 55 or something, 65, you've got a big red nose, I look like Alex Ferguson.
And your toe will be throbbing.
That's one of the downsides, yes. All right, it's 11 o'clock. I've got to fire over, do some bits and bobs on the show, and we'll come back and talk. Can you stay for a little bit longer?
Yeah.
I'm all right.
You sure?
Yeah.
You're not going to be anywhere now? You're not going to go home because you're going to get it done when you get home, so you might as well stay here all day.
Kiss FM.
That should have been a singer me. Parade and your parade. If you have just tuned in and you've just joined us on The Breakfast Show today, welcome to the hump of the week. It is Wednesday. It's The Breakfast Show with me, Si. In the studio today, we have Nigel Birch and Sir Cliff Richard from the Adega Do Cantor Winery in Gia, down here in the Algarve. So morning, everybody. It's nice. Has it cooled down any in the studio? I've turned is it still red hot over there?
It's getting pretty warm at this end.
It's nice. I'm all right over here, but I'm pretty cool.
It's a sauna.
Right, so okay, guys, we've mentioned a couple of awards there. We've mentioned about the congratulations, which is a sparkling wine. It won a gold, which is great. I will be looking out for this. Just quickly, some awards that other wines have won there. Some of the you wines. Have you got any white wines that have won awards?
Yes.
Everything's really into red at the minute, doesn't it?
The Ondenova Viognier
Yes.
also won silver.
In Portugal?
In Portugal.
Yep.
And it also got
We got a white.
commended at the International Wine Challenge.
No, but we also got a white silver up in Lisbon.
Yeah.
So at the minute, then, you've got quite a few wines that have won awards that have got
I
medals.
would
and what's-
recommend the Videlio.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Is that what's that then?
It's a white wine. It's a white wine, and it's got a little bit more substance. So I tend to like my wines. You know, I used to love those fantastic Chardonnays that came from Australia that were full of oak and vanilla and buttery. Really.
See, I'm getting into that sort of thing now. I'm a bit lighter than that, but I'm getting there.
They were so popular, and suddenly it went out of fashion. And suddenly I'm seeing on the menus they actually put Chardonnay, and then in brackets it's got unoaked. I flipped straight by them.
Yeah.
So our Videlio, although it's not as heavy as the original Chardonnays were, it's got a sort of Chardonnaic approach to to it, and it's got you feel like you're actually drinking something. But again, you know, it's hard to say. I've been drinking a lot of our white wine recently because a lot of my friends who come over want a white wine for lunch or something, and you can't really knock it.
No.
I'm not saying that we're the only ones making good wine, because now the Algarve has got some 30 wineries.
Yep.
We have some fairly stiff competition, but we're just talking about our wine today.
That's what we're down. That's what we're down to do.
Well, the Videlio that Cliff really likes, and there's also the Viognier. They are our Ondenova, and it's a monocast, so it's one grape.
Okay.
And we've also got the white Vidinova, which is a varietal blend of 3 whites. But the Viognier and the Videlio are very, very special, and it's just one grape.
Yeah.
And they've been awarded, which
Actually,
is
all the Ondenova label, which is New Wave, isn't
New
it?
Wave.
As opposed to New
So we
Life.
have New Life, New Wave.
They are all single varietal
for
grapes.
people that don't know,
Single
the Vida Nova is the
a varietal blend, so
and
it's
that's
a
called
mix.
the New Life.
New Life.
Basically,
Vida
Vida
Nova
Nova means new life.
Yeah.
And the Nova
means New Wave.
New Wave. Okay.
Grape.
So
But the Ondenova is just made with a single grape, not a blend of grapes like the red.
which is better, to have a single grape or a blended grape? Or one grape to
on
make
what
wine?
you
Or,
like.
It depends on what you like. The whole thing about giving them a choice, I don't know. We make about 7 different... We bottle 7 different types of wine now. They're all wines. They'll have a different flavour to them and a different strength to them and a different power to them. And it's a matter of giving people a choice, because some people just love the Branco,
Yeah.
the regular
Vidinova white.
Vidinova white, because
love
it's got a very easy, gentle flavour. It's very easy to drink.
I'm going to have a test of all these at some point.
You're gonna have to,
I'm
yeah.
going to have to come down. I'm going to have to come down. In fact, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
The Adega Do Cantor, it's a winery. It makes wine, it bottles wine, it sells wine. It distributes wine all over the world.
Yeah.
But it also does. People can come and join in, can't they? And sort of see what goes on there. You do tours.
Yeah, the winery is open Monday to Friday, and the shop's open from 10 till 1, and then from 2 till 5. Anyone can come up and do a tasting of all our wines. It's for free. But if they want to go on
people can come to the winery and drink. Sorry, taste free wine.
Yes.
I have to say taste. I can't say
It's a cheap bar.
It is if you're tasting for nothing.
It's the cheapest bar in town.
Is it not? You don't have an honesty bar.
But Rebecca was about to say that if you want to come as a group, though, you have to book.
Yeah, if you want a group and a proper guided tour, and
that
we
would
take
be
you
best.
into the vineyard.
Yes.
They're scheduled 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, but you do have to make a reservation.
So Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
2 in the afternoon and.
No, 10 till 1.
Sorry, 10 to 1.
And 2 till 5. That's the opening hours of the winery. But for tours, we have them at 11:30 or at 2:30 or at 10:30 or at 3:30.
And all this information is available on your website, which is
www.winesvidanova.com.
Winesvidanova.com. All one word, Winesvidanova?
Yep.
Okay. So if you just put, if you put Wines Vidanova in Google, you'll be up there, and you can click on, and all those details for the tours and the wine tasting, they're all on there.
Yeah.
And tons of other information, all the staff on. I've seen all the staff are on there, all the staff pictures.
Yep.
Your winemaker. Have you got a picture of Ruben on there? Because he's your new winemaker, Ruben, isn't he?
We do.
I don't know. Do we?
We've got some pictures of Ruben. Ruben's been with us for quite a number of years. He was also the assistant to our original
He was kind of
winemaker.
studying beneath Max.
Has he worked his way up from the bottom, has he? Yes.
Indeed,
And is he the main man now?
And he's really good, yeah. He's made us some
very
nice
good.
wines.
Fantastic guy.
I've got some general questions for you now. This might seem like a really stupid question, okay? How many grapes would it take to make a bottle of wine? Roughly.
Well,
would you know?
Well,
Well, I mean, somebody must have. Somebody somewhere must have counted.
1.5 bottles does one. We've had that question before.
yeah, we have.
All right, how many bunches? You get a bunch of grapes. There's 50 grapes on a
I think
bunch.
you probably get a bottle and a half of wine out of one bunch. You get
Really?
a lot of juice and
I think
skins.
you'd have to convert your grapes to weight, actually. So if you had a kilo and a half.
Right. So what would you get out of a kilo of grapes?
Yeah, you get half a...
Really?
No, half a kilo. You get
Half a litre?
3/4. You could... It depends on the grapes. If they're big, fat, juicy grapes, you get...
At the
that
minute,
much
you're saying
juice.
that your grapes at the minute are fantastic. You've got the best grapes you've had.
Yeah,
Since you opened the winery, haven't you? Since you owned the Adega.
They're very, very good.
Okay.
Very, very good.
Hands-on question for you. How hands-on, Sir Cliff, are you in the winemaking process? You come over to Portugal, what, half
I've only been feet on.
Ooh,
Very
elaborate.
early
Come
on.
on,
Very
elaborate.
early on.
Feet on.
They said, Nigel said, come up tomorrow, because tomorrow one of the tanks has been macerating, and we're taking the juice out, we need to get the skins out, so come showered. And
You
so
never got in there.
I jumped in the tank, so somewhere along the line somebody has drunk wine
your
that I
feet.
have trodden on. But I promise you I scrubbed my feet. And the funny thing is that for about 3 days after that, though, it looked like
Your feet tasted great.
purple socks. It was really funny. And it really wasn't treading the grapes. I was treading the grapes, but basically was trying to get the grapes skins out of these tanks.
Yeah.
But hands-on, no. I'm not a farmer even. I do walk down, and my farm's had a little bit of trouble this year. We're probably going to lose about 20% of my grapes this year. And again, it's farming.
Just through what, though? Through weather or just
through humidity and too much sun and too much cool in the first part of the year, or something happened.
Because it's been a weird year this year for weather. Strange year.
Yeah, it has. And vines grow these leaves down to cover, to protect the grapes. And what happened, that underneath there it got too humid and moist, and a fungus came. And we tried to spray the fungus off 3 times and failed. So we're going to lose some of them. But, fortunately, there's 3 farms, so we'll be able to make a good...
20% a lot. I mean, if you were relying purely and solely off that, if that was your only income and you lost 20% of your income just like that, that would be excellent.
But that's farming. If you think about it, every farmer that farms, whether it's carrots or grapes, is going to face that problem every now and then. So apparently I've been told, I think Ruben told me that, our winemaker told me that next year when the plant starts to shoot, the very first shoots, you can't believe how small grapes look when they first come out on the stalk. They look like tiny little pinpricks. They cut the leaves away and then they spray them then, and then he said we'll probably...
And is this Ruben's job, the winemaker?
Well, no, it's not his job really, although he's very happy to speak with my farmer and give him advice, and so that's what he does now and then.
So there are 2 things. One is viticulture and one is viniculture. Viticulture is dealing with the vineyards, and that's completely separate. You've got to have good grapes to produce good wine. So viticulture is out in the vineyards, and viniculture is in the winery.
But your question about Cliff being very hands-on, he's very involved. I mean, Vida Nova, that was the name that he came up with. He created it, which means new life. I don't know if you want to explain why it was new life.
Well, I wanted to call it New Life. I don't know if I mentioned before, though.
You mentioned it off-air before to me, yeah.
Well, because I bought this farm, and I thought, well, you know, it's going to die around me. You know, I can keep the garden alive, but so I talked to the farmer and said, what can we plant? Figs originally. Oh, we talked about this. We did talk about my figs.
Yes,
was it off air?
No, we spoke about that being your 30 euros a hole. 30
euros a hole, yeah.
Which you've now took up to plant your
That's right.
grapes.
And of course, Vida Nova New Life meant that it was going to give new life to my farm. It hadn't been a working farm for many, many years.
But you also had an old vineyard there, if you remember.
And there was a tiny block of Chardonnay grapes, funny enough. But we took them out. Some of the roots, you know, were like 90 feet deep.
Big gnarled.
Yeah, they go down for the water. But anyway, Vida Nova meant new life for my farm, and it turns out I was hoping it would be new life for the wine business in the Algarve, and it has been.
And that was when you very first started, when there was only 3 others.
Yes,
3 wineries. Yeah.
And you.
So Vida Nova worked out really well, not only for us, but it did in fact give new life. It encouraged others to think, well, if they can do it, why don't we try to do it? Yeah. Now there are, as you said, 30.
Like we said before, somebody set the precedent, and you're now up there with the best.
Yes.
There's 30 wineries.
But the other thing it's done, Si, is a lot of people that come to the Algarve, they think beach, golf.
Yes.
But what we've done is we've given it the agriculture, the tourism side. People come to the winery, educate them about agriculture, about vines, about grapes, and it's something the Algarve has to offer. It's not just beach.
Didn't you tell me yesterday it's something like it's the Adega Do Cantor or the Vida Nova wine? It's like in the top 10 things that.
Yes, it's been recognised as a produce of Portugal amongst 8 other products from Portugal, and it's something to be proud of.
So if that's what people think of Portugal, then that winery, the Cliff Richard Winery, Vida Nova wines, and all that comes in.
We're currently getting about 18,000 people a year through the winery and
just
tours.
visiting.
Tasting and the tours as well. 18,000.
18,000.
So you guys are quite busy then, aren't you, really, all in all? You're not just sat there waiting for your grapes to go.
You have to remember, I'm sure some of the other wineries would have tourists as well going through.
Exactly.
So there'd be a whole bunch of people that would come through. And I feel rather thrilled because when we talked about coming here all those years ago when there was nothing here. When I sold my first house, the little lady that bought it came with 2 carrier bags full of cash. and bought my house like that. And then she lived in the garage and she rented the 3 floors to tourists, and it changed her whole way of life. And you could see the difference in people's lives. So I feel kind of happy that we've played a major role in raising the economy of the Algarve. I know the recession's hit and we've all suffered from that, but to think that we've all played a part in that, and this is a continuation of it, really, that there's more to Portugal and more to Algarve than just a beach, although beaches are pretty darn good.
That's predominantly why people come over.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, a lot of the British come on holiday for 2 weeks to get away from it all and to drink,
but they want to drink wine and they want to go on the beach. Yeah, that's right.
Also, Si, a lot of people come out of season.
Yes.
Okay, you've got golf.
Golfers, yeah.
But we've got a lot of people. Our busiest time is the absolute opposite to the tourist time.
So
we're busy in October, November.
What, as workers, as getting the wine ready, or for selling the wine?
For people visiting.
Why?
Because a lot of people come here in the winter, because the Algarve is beautiful, because it's quiet.
Well, I mean, we do get 10 months of sunshine a year, and it's bearable for 8 of those 10 months, so I suppose.
It's something else to do,
But a lot of the older generation, they get cheap, the flights are cheaper, they come out in the winter time, and that's when we get the largest number of people wanting to have tours.
I thought you'd been busy now in the sort of...
we are busy. We are busy.
But you are busier in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, here, guys. It's the brand new single from Pharrell Williams. Yeah, that one's called Come Get It Bay, with uncredited vocals from the brilliant and lovely. We love Miley Cyrus. I say we love Miley Cyrus. I don't actually love Miley Cyrus. She's playing in the backside. But on the radio, I have to say, we love Miley Cyrus. She's great. Do you know of Miley Cyrus?
I know of her.
Do you follow? I mean, just quickly talking music. Do you follow music at the minute? Do you follow the music?
I try to, but it all changes so quickly. Miley and Justin Bieber have sort of lasted longer than some, in that there's been 3 or 4 years now. I just hope they don't ruin it all, because to me they're both good singers. They both look good. They can dance. I don't know whether she does, but he certainly plays instruments. There's a future ahead for both of them.
Do you not think they're being led sometimes in the wrong way?
Well, they're not being advised correctly, I think, and it may be partly the fact that sometimes younger people that come through now don't want advice. They think they know it all. But it's just a danger that they might blow it, and I'm thinking it's a shame. It's a shame for them, and a disappointment for the audience, because I think the audience could grow to love them as artists who are good at what they do.
Longevity. I mean, we deal with music all the time, and we have to recognise new artists when we see them and whatever.
Sure.
Longevity-wise, I couldn't name one artist now that's out in the charts now, or anything that's even close to me, that's going to be around in 50 years.
Well, the industry's changed. Not always their fault. I mean, if you think about it, when you look at X Factor and stuff like that, most of the times I get it wrong anyway. I kind of pick people and they're out after 4 weeks.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't understand it all. But when you listen to them, even the losers are good. Look at One Direction. All 5 of them lost.
All the ones that have done better coming off the X Factor have all been
Didn't
losers.
actually win. So it's not the winners necessarily. It's the fact that they're all good singers. They're really good. And I can't see any reason why any of these people can't be around in 50 years' time. But our industry has changed. I don't think they're supported the way the Shadows and I were, the Beatles, for instance. We had producers and people that... I said once, and I think it's true, they loved us as people and they respected us as artists, all the people that work for us. Fabulous combination. Because firstly, they're really bothered that you're happy. Are you happy with this? Are you okay with this? You say, yeah, and then you get that. And you got advice. And they'd say things, don't say that again, or don't do that. And you got advice and you took it, and you found that it worked. So I don't know that the support system is as good as it was.
Do you think at the minute, because maybe things, like you say, fashions change? And for example, Miley Cyrus is popular now, but might not be popular in 2 years' time, so they'll just move her on. They won't give her the option to reinvent herself 6 times or whatever. They'll just say, she's gone, let's get the new one in at 16.
That's a wheel 'em in, wheel 'em out.
I mean, look. Spears 12 years ago, wasn't it?
Who was that?
Britney Spears.
Yeah.
She's still around.
And in recording artists, some of the people that win these competitions go to number 1, then their second record is number 1, then their third record is number 2, and they're not even re-signed.
Yeah.
A guy called Marcus Collins did really well in the X Factor. He had a great record out. And then he was with Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell dropped him because his album didn't get in the top 10 or something, so he didn't get that option. James Arthur, another one, he did really well. He won the last X Factor. The last X Factor. Great singer, great voice, but
I don't think this. I think it's a support, because I can't fault the singing. They all sing brilliantly. They've all got 50 years of influences, and it shows. But I can't understand why people don't sort of see that there's a huge future for them and help them to get there. Look. Daniel O'Donnell, the country singer, he is the only artist ever to have a top 10 album every year for 25 years. Did I do it? No. Did Elvis do it? No. Did the Beatles do it? They didn't even last more than 9 years. So
is that all the Beatles were? 9 years?
They have 9 years of hits, So
God, you would think it was a lot longer than that, wouldn't you?
Well, they made such an impact, of course, and they did separate things, but as the Beatles, it was 9 years. And I'm thinking that we're not allowing the young singers to become like Daniel, who plods on year after year doing his thing. He goes out, he sells out his concerts, he has an album in the top 10. You don't have to be number 1 every time to have a career.
No.
It's nice. Look, if I could have had number 1s every time, you think I'd have turned it down?
You didn't do too bad, did you? You did quite well.
No, I did okay. I'm fine. But you don't have to be number 1. And as I say, I'm so thrilled. Daniel's a friend of mine, so I'm really proud to tell people, look, nobody has ever done this.
He's friend Daniel.
Well, Daniel did it.
Have you? What was the last album you bought? What was the last CD you bought?
I bought was the best of the Bee Gees. I got it online.
I'll go with that one. I wouldn't have gone down that line, but yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah. And prior to that, I bought Ellie Goulding.
No, she's good. I like her.
Huh?
I like her. She's good.
I do too. I need to listen to that. I can't remember the title of the album, because you put them in there.
Was it Alison?
Yes. Was it? I heard the song. How long will I love you?
Yeah, great song.
How long is there a star so above you? This great voice came out. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'd love to sing a duet with someone like that. And so I've got to get used to the fact that when she's actually singing on the album, it's a sort of much more raucous approach
that's
to it.
That's not her. She's got a different. Yeah,
but she's got those 2 sounds though, which I think is brilliant to have that behind you. So I try to keep up, but as I say, it's difficult. By the time I get round to buying it, they've already gone and died. They've gone and they've not signed up again, and you don't buy any more albums.
Again, not led right. You see, longevity comes into it again.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just hoping that people like Ellie Goulding will see that longevity is available to everyone. They're just going to have to find a way around the fact that they may have to do it without a record contract. I mean, I've just heard that Morrissey's been dropped by his record label.
But he's just done a tour. He's done a big tour this last 12 months. Been all over the country. In the UK.
I know. And I was supposed to be with him in New York, and he got sick.
Of course you were, yes, right. I did the story. I covered that story, yeah. That was a strange collaboration. How did that come round?
Pardon?
How did that come round?
What's that?
Well, you're not similar, are you?
Well, because Morrissey wanted to have me on the show as one of the openings. Not the openings. He had a girl open the show, and then I was going to do an hour, and then he'd do his whatever he did at the end. And I got really excited. I thought, this is great. I'd love to do it. I'd be playing to 12,000 Americans. I'd never be able to get an audience that big in the States. So I was ready to go. And then, of course, he got sick. And what I did was, though, because I knew people had bought tickets, non-refundable airline tickets, non-refundable hotels.
Yeah.
So I said, look, I booked a theatre called the Gramercy. It holds about 470 people. And I said, go to New York, enjoy it, and I'll do a free gig. And that's what I did. And we packed out 500, in fact, and 200 couldn't get in.
Now, the funny thing is, right, this isn't planned. I have an email. We've had an email in from Jackie Entwistle from Canada. Born in Liverpool, came to Canada in the late 1980s. Hi, Si, I'm one of the fans who's at the Gramercy Theatre in New York City.
Oh, you're kidding.
Honestly, I'm not sure if you're asking any questions, but I was lucky enough to say hi to Cliff twice in one day. Once in the taxi in the afternoon. Once in the afternoon, he was leaving the theatre after a sound check, and I stood by the taxi door knowing I couldn't possibly miss him. I handed Cliff a bag with a Canadian tin with iced wine tea bags in it.
I saw that.
Now, the question...
I haven't tried them, though.
The question is, she'd like to know if you tried them.
No.
Because if you have and like it, she's going to get some more.
It's just iced wine tea bag. It doesn't sort of... I mean, if it was a regular tea bag, I'm thinking, what's iced wine tea bag like? So I will try it, though.
You will?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's from Jackie. So Jackie, he's not tried it yet, but he's going to.
Oh, great. I wonder if Jackie knows whether... I mean, you know, Morrissey's a vegan.
Yes.
Doesn't have any meat at all. I wonder if he drinks wine.
Well, let's just send him some and see.
I'll try and find. I'm sure if anybody's listening knows, you can.
I'll give you a $5. Send him some from me and you.
Okay.
Put my name on it as well. Yeah. I'll sign it before we leave.
Because he got some kind of virus, you know. I mean, he wrote me a very apologetic, very sweet note on email. An email came through, and he obviously was unhappy about the whole thing. But you know, in the end, it turned out okay for me. I didn't. You know, it was a free show. The people loved it. I spent the whole week then on radio over there because they all heard about it. So it was nice. It was in the end. It was fine. Anyway, let's get back to wine.
Okay,
Do you think I should send him some?
Yes. Send him a bottle of Vino Nova Tinto 2010. Not this one.
No, that's yours.
Right, another question for you. Hi, Si. It's wonderful that you have Sir Cliff Richard on today. He is the best. Please, could you send my husband Dave, who's in the Algarve at the moment, all my love, and of course send it Cliff too. So that's from Julie Orchard. So can you just say hello to Dave?
Dave, where are you, mate? Why are you not here?
Well, he's, I don't know. Maybe sunbathing.
Anyway, wish you were here.
Hi, Si. We have an apartment in Valdeparra. On returning to the UK last Thursday, decided to buy a bottle of the Vida Nova Tinto at Faro Airport. They had two vintages, 2008 and 2011. I bought the 2011. Please, can you ask Sir Cliff if I made the right choice?
Yes. I think you did.
And so, again, these questions are entitled to yourself and Nigel. So, she bought 2011.
Yep, that's fine.
Absolutely.
Good choice. Yeah,
good choice.
But she should try the 2008 though as well.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
There's nothing wrong with those. I mean, they're all. I mean, as I say, I drink it all. I mean, I've still got 2008 and 2007.
We don't have any.
You don't. You
drink it.
It's just a soak.
Susan Lynch on Facebook messaged in saying, wish it was me waiting for Cliff to come. You lucky people, have a great time. Please give him all my love all the way from Perth, Western Australia. That's from Susan Lynch.
Fantastic, Susan. Thank you.
There's a question I hope you can read out to Cliff and Nigel. Are you going to use screw corks for any new wines? At times I find them very handy because you don't need a corkscrew and there's no possibility of the wine tasting corked after you've opened it. That's from Petra Denis in the Netherlands.
Well, that is
Screw
interesting. We were about to be the sort of test case of.
Because in the UK now, all wines in the UK, screw cap.
Yep.
You buy any wine from any supermarket, it's all screw cap, no matter where from in the world. But over here, every wine you buy is corked. For me, corked.
I'll leave that one to you.
Well, but the screw cork idea is wonderful. There was a company. Unfortunately, we couldn't get. They wanted to do it now, and of course, our wine is still growing on grapes. It's still in the grapes. So, sorry.
We'll always make wine with cork. We have to.
Why?
Because Portugal is probably the biggest producing cork country in the world.
It is. It's one of the biggest
It
exports,
produces
isn't it?
a third of all world cork comes from Portugal.
But we have been contacted by a company called Amory, which is the biggest cork producing company in the world, and they've devised a cork.
It's a screw cork.
A screw cork, and it's called the Elix. And basically, the cork screws out of the bottle, So it's exactly the same as a screw cap, but it's not aluminium.
But it's cork.
Much better for the environment.
It's the cork. You can cork. The interesting thing I noticed it's not so much that the cork is the screw factor.
It's the bottle.
On the inside of the spout, the throat of the, you feel that you put your finger down there and you can feel this kind of groove on both sides curving down. So you shove the cork in and turn, and I didn't realize it, but he explained it to us when we met him. He said cork, it's made up of 250,000 kind of elements or bits, and all it tries to do is fill holes in, gaps. Yeah. So you push it in and it fills in the groove. So then when you come to take it out, you unscrew it from the groove, you pour your wine, you screw the darn thing back, and you've got a corked bottle again, tightly corked. You can lay it down if you want to. I think it's a brilliant idea.
So that could be the next way forward. Could be the screw cork as opposed to the screw cap.
Exactly.
Okay, and you'll be. I'm presuming you'll be one of the first to use this.
We're guinea pigs.
Well, yeah, we're going to be guinea. I think someone else has probably got the job of guinea pig, but we'll certainly, I think, move to it.
And we're testing it with all our wines, and we've been running tests.
We've already got some wine in stock with screw corks.
And what I've done is, on the test ones we've got, I've still got the bottles. They're the wrong bottles because the rosé is written on a white label and on a dark bottle. But when I open the rosé wine out of a regular cork, I pour it into the other bottle, screw it down.
That's cheating.
It's cheating. And you can, if you want to, for women listening. If for women, you can keep the bottle, and if you've got olive oil left over, put it in there and screw the cap down.
See, the easy thing with a bottle of wine is open it, drink it. Yeah. Then you don't have to recork it.
No, well, if you drink it, that's right, you do. But it's fine, because most people, in fact, if you're having a drink on your own, mind you, I don't know about you, but I'll end up maybe with a half a bottle of wine that I need to keep for tomorrow. So you put the cork back. That's, to me, the magic. And also, there's something about cork and wine.
Yeah.
I like, it doesn't, does it pop a bit?
Yeah.
A little bit.
It does pop a little, but, when that... It's a fantastic sound.
That's the noise you've got to have. So the screw cork does do a little...
But you don't ever have to use a corkscrew, so you just screw it up.
Right, so there you go, Petra. There's your question. Sarah McKenna on Facebook spinning. She's put, I'm so jealous, I love Cliff. Can you tell him my hen party was Cliff-themed? I had challenged to get every bar in Villamora Marina to play one of the tracks off his best of CD, and they all did.
Fantastic.
She got married 2 years ago.
Really?
She went to it. She did actually.
And
I remember this girl. I remember this girl. She came in. I was working in one of the bars in Villamora.
Yeah.
And she came in, and it's not a bar we would normally play Cliff Richard in because it's a younger element in there.
Well, that doesn't mean you shouldn't play me, though.
I would play Cliff Richard every day and every night, and I'll tell you a story in a second.
Yeah.
Right? I'll tell you a story in a second about me and you.
Okay.
Not personally, but. It's not a record we would normally play. So
if you're playing dance music, no, I don't think I'd fit in that. But if you listen to play music that you want to listen to, I think music is music. I just got a fabulous letter from 3 girls in Germany, and they said, and they got young in very large letters, we are 3 young fans. Okay. And I'm thinking, oh, how nice.
How old were they? Go on.
Because, I don't know, they didn't say how young they were, but they wrote it in a very young fashion. And I'm thinking, and even if they were under 25, or even under 30, there's still a feeling that, Cliff Richard this, Elton John that, and ageism shouldn't come into it. When I listened to Ellie Goulding's record, do you think I asked what her age was? I didn't give a damn what her age was. She sounded fantastic. So a lot of people miss some good things by not ever listening to them because they feel, no, that's not for me. He is not for me, or she is not for me.
Well, Sarah was 28. And she went and she had a hen party which was Cliff themed.
And she was 26.
So there you go. So,
yeah, well, anyway, thank you so much for that.
The question, okay, this is what I was going to say about me and you before. You are the reason that I used to pretend I was on a microphone. So maybe you are the reason that I ended up being a DJ and wanting a microphone in my hand. Well, when you brought out, and I think it was a B-side, I can't remember what record it was Goodbye Sam, Hello Samantha.
A-side. It was I think it was my 50th record.
Right, well, this came
Goodbye,
out.
Sam. Hello, Samantha.
You'll get me singing.
No, I know. I heard you singing earlier, and I know now why you became a DJ.
Start the car. What are you laughing at for outside? Shut up. Get some work done. So I used to stand in front of the mirror with my mum's hairbrush and my grandma's hairbrush singing Goodbye Sam, Hello Samantha. So you're the reason I'm on the microphone.
Did you see that? There was a commercial and there was all these people looking like Hank Marvin. They all had guitars.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Well, the Cockney rhyming slang for starving is Hank Marvin.
I know. Do you know, I'm so jealous because I can't figure out the only thing that rhymes with Richard could be Pilchard, but
it's not a good one, that is it really?
No,
it's not the best.
No, it's not the best. But Hank Marvin. And if you're feeling a bit Hank Marvin, you're going to have a Ruby Murray.
Yep.
And a bottle of Stanley.
Prince of the Crop.
You see, now, the funny thing is, I normally have on the show today Cockney Bob. And what Cockney Bob does, he comes on, he tells us something Cockney, but he's not on today because you're on, so you've stolen Cockney Bob's place. So today you've done Cockney Cliff. Cockney Cliff on. Bob will be gutted.
Prince of the Crop.
Pardon?
The Prince of the Crop.
Oh, yeah.
Go on,
So we did press the button. I pressed the button yesterday for the first crush of the first bunch of grapes for next year's, for the harvest this year. And somebody was saying
Queen of wine.
the queen. Somebody was the queen of in Germany. Somebody was the queen of wine, and I said, oh, I used to be called the Prince of Pop. I could be the Prince of the Crop.
Oh, I like that.
There you go.
I don't think you'll get another 75 years out of that. But, and you've got a while to go yet. Don't get me wrong, but
hopefully.
final question from Colin Willis here on Facebook came in. Can you ask Sir Cliff if he's doing any signings of his wine whilst he's here, or any concerts, as his daughter-in-law's a big fan and is here on holiday at the Mo. Cheers. So are you going to any signings of the wine?
No, I don't think I'm doing any signings this year. As to concerts, I will be doing something next year because I'm going to celebrate a really good birthday next year, and I want to do that with my fans again. So we're planning it now. So it's a matter of watching the space, but he'll hear about it.
Wine signings imminent, could be in the future, but not at the moment, not this year.
This year we're not doing.
Okay, because you did one last year, quite a big one last year.
I did a couple last year, actually.
Two last year.
Yeah.
Two last year.
I know one of them was a huge. I mean, well, they were both huge successes, but the one you did at Breeze was because I was working at Breeze at the time last year.
Oh, up there, yeah. Because we did the luge one, and then we came down.
Yeah.
We did a big supermarket.
Big
last
supermarket.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I advertised that.
Yeah.
I did actually. I invited you down to the show on that day because you were passing, but you didn't come.
year. Maybe next year we'll do it at the winery.
We probably got a better offer.
Yeah. That's what we'll probably do.
Sunday morning, was it?
Next year we'll probably do a signing at the winery.
Excellent.
Everyone
That's an excellent idea. You see,
Yeah.
to me that would have been my first choice.
It's a local job, isn't it?
So,
It's our home.
All right, I've got 10 questions for you, and I'll ask you both. And this is where we finish off, and then we'll give the website out for the Adega and stuff. And stuff. So I've got 10 quick questions. So just quick answer, where people can find out a little bit more about you. So whoever wants to go first, obviously whoever goes second will have a little bit longer to think about the answer. Okay.
This is a one yes or no
Yes.
answer.
Yes, we do this. We do this with all our favourite interviewees. And we just find a little bit more about it. So this is to both of you. Okay. So first of all, Sir Cliff, favourite ice cream?
Frozen yogurt.
Ooh, that's a good one. Nigel, favourite ice cream?
Vanilla.
You see, my mum's vanilla as well. I'm not.
I love vanilla.
Favourite film, Sir Cliff?
Gladiator.
Great film. Nigel?
It's that one, the desert and Peter O'Toole.
Oh,
What do you call it?
about a famous guy. Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia. Another great film, you see. Okay.
Well, now you know who's the oldest of the 97 years that we've been here.
Dementia's setting in.
It is a little bit, yes.
I have trouble remembering titles like that.
Okay, so bring it down a bit, right? You're going to the electric chair. You've not paid your parking fine. You're going to the electric chair. Yeah? What's your final meal before you go to the electric chair? What would your final meal be?
Indian curry.
Any particular one?
No, just anything that's curry and all that goes with it.
Nigel?
I'd have to say peri chicken. I mean,
Good call. With a nice glass of red, yes?
Yeah,
nice glass of
very nice. No, actually, a glass of white this time of the year, but in the winter, a glass of red.
Okay, your favourite car of all time, Sir Cliff?
Favourite Jensen Interceptor.
Great car again. Nigel, favourite car?
E-Type.
Lovely car again.
Design.
Yeah. My dad's friend had one of those. Brilliant car. Greatest sporting moment that you can remember?
Watching Andy Murray win Wimbledon.
Really?
Yeah, it's got to be.
And that's something that recent. It was. I mean, it was.
It was very recent.
It was.
Yeah.
And that's. You got. I'm stunned. I didn't think you'd go for that. I thought you'd have gone for England winning the World Cup in '66.
Yeah, well, I was happy then, but this was magical because we don't know who's going to win it next, and even Andy does a fantastic job for Britain.
Nigel, favourite sporting moment?
No, I've got to agree with Cliff on that. I was in tears.
Really?
Yeah, I really was.
Excellent.
It was a very emotional win.
Okay, favourite line from a film. Do you have a favourite line from a film? We're doing that today actually on Facebook as well. Favourite lines from films.
I always liked when I did the young ones, one of the characters, we were going to, as a young group of kids, we were going to put on a show. And he stood in the middle of the floor and went, well, let's do the show right here. And I thought that was so
You even did the face and everything.
Let's do the show right here.
Nigel, favourite line from a film?
It was Dirk Bogarts, because Lauren Bacall, I think, died.
Yeah, she passed away today, yeah.
What was it? Play it again, Sam?
Oh yeah, play it again.
Did he actually say that in the film?
Of all the
gin joints, you gotta walk in a mine.
Yeah.
Are you talking to me? You talking to me?
Good morning, Vietnam.
Great, we've seen that's another one, Right, okay.
That's another sad thing. Anyway, let's like that.
I think I know the answer to the next question, but favourite place to be, if you could be anywhere in the whole wide world at any point, where'd you rather be?
Right in the middle of my farm.
Brilliant.
In Gear.
I'll agree with you there, totally.
That's both of you. Okay.
He wants to be right in the middle of my farm.
God, moving swiftly on. One record from your top 10 all-time favourite tracks. Not your personally, you can put one of yours in if you want, but your favourite all-time track ever.
I would always say Heartbreak Hotel. If it was just one song, I'd say Heartbreak Hotel, Elvis Presley.
I'm an Elvis Presley fan, a huge Elvis Presley fan. Fantastic, great
song. That song kicked the whole of my life off. Fantastic.
Nigel?
I haven't a clue.
Really? Okay, that's not, you can't say pass, it's not a problem.
Oh, we don't talk anymore.
The whispering in the background then was just a slight giveaway, wasn't it really? Okay, number 9, what's your favourite wine?
Alicante Boucher by Vita Nova.
Okay.
You know, it sounds awful as though I'm just following, but we do actually genuinely both love the Alicante Boucher.
We do.
Excellent.
That's
okay.
a fact.
And the final question, it's quite a simple one, this one. What is your, you must have one, I've got one. What's your favourite item of clothing? You must have a favourite item of clothing. Mine is a shirt that used to be my dad's. It's nearly 35 years old. It's black and white, polka dot. It's brilliant. Preston front ace.
Well, now you mentioned going back in time. I have a suit that I bought maybe 35 years ago by Thierry Mugler, the French designer.
Okay.
I still have it. Every now and then I bring it out and people go, oh, what a great suit. It'll always look fantastic as long as you leave it alone for a while.
Yeah. So that's your favourite. Have you got a favourite item of clothing?
I've got a Levi shirt that I've had for many, many, many years, and it just won't wear out.
They don't make them like they used to.
You've got to wash it.
You know, it's washed. Brilliant. I keep every year I get it out and think it's going to die.
It's a denim shirt, is it?
It's denim.
Denim is amazing, isn't it? How does denim?
It just keeps going, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It never dies out of fashion.
And now, of course, when it gets torn, you don't have to bother about
just keep wearing it. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, listen. So today, listen. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for coming on the Breakfast Show. It's
Pleasure.
been 2 hours. Has flown by.
It has for me.
You've filled fantasies for me, but you've completed my life. Has been done now. We've had the legend and the icon. This is Cliff Richard. I've spoken tonight about the wine. It's fantastic. 2 hours for me. I hope everybody that's listening has had as good a day as good a 2 hours as I've had. The winery again is www.winesvidanova.com. Do you have a Facebook page?
Yes, www.Adega Do Cantor /Facebook.
Okay, so on Facebook, if they type Adega Do Cantor, they'll probably go straight through to that. And just for people that don't know, Adega Do Cantor actually means the farm, the winery of the singer.
Winery of the singer.
You are the cantor.
I am the cantor.
Okay, brilliant. So listen, guys, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
You are always welcome on the show for anything that's going on. You're more than welcome at any point. And thanks for answering the questions. You've been fantastic sports.
Yeah, likewise. If we could get you to the winery and try some of these wines, we'd love to do it.
We'll lean on the bar with you.
Yeah.
Sold. Sold. Right, so...
Don't bring your mother because she doesn't drink anything.
Oh, she won't. She got your name on it.
I know.
She was going to come down today, but I said, you are not coming down, Mum, today. Why? Let me come down and say hello. You were my mum's first concert that she went to.
Oh, really? Well, I've got to talk to her into drinking that wine.
Get her another one.
We'll give you another one. I'll get her one that's not signed.
Yeah, exactly.
Then she'll have to drink it.
Yes, we'll do that.
Okay.
I might take a glass of that if there's any left later on, but you never know. Okay, guys, listen, thank you very much indeed, and we'll speak and see you very shortly. Okay?
Yep. Okay.
Guys.
Great.
So there you go, Mr. Cliff Richard today and Nigel Birch from the Adega Do Cantor Winery in Gear. I'm going to play a couple of quick records before we scoot off.
Kiss